Welcome back to Wayne TV. I'm Joel Gilley. I have some very special friends with me today from our Department of Social Services. So I want you guys to introduce yourself, ladies, to introduce yourself. So we'll start with you.
I am Sanika Caldwell, foster care, licensing, adoptions, in-home services program manager.
Man, yeah, that's a lot to fit on a business card.
I try not to put it all up there.
But you wear a lot of different hats, which I think is really cool.
Yes.
And how about you? What's your name?
Nicole Carnegie. I am the adoption links 18 and 21 permanency planning and licensing supervisor.
You guys got such awesome titles over there. It's a really cool thing. We are, of course, talking with you guys because this month is National Adoption Month. And I think a lot of people don't realize that while the county is not necessarily an adoption agency, right, that people think of, we still do have adoption opportunities for people. And so I want to talk about that just a little bit because we were talking a little bit before we started filming that, you know, I've been with the county a while and I still learn that there are still so many facets of county government that you don't even think of that happen all the time. And so I don't know who the best person to ask this question to, so I'll let y'all figure that out. But so these children that are in your care are in your care because I assume their parents cannot take care of them, right?
Yes.
And that's how they come into it. So how does that process work? Is that a court-ordered thing that happens?
So we receive reports on families that are where people report that the children have either been abused, neglected, or dependent. Based on our state policy, we screen those reports, whether we screen them in or out. The reports are assessed. Once the assessment is complete, either the case is closed or it moves on to a different service like in-home services or to immediate custody like foster care.
Yeah.
So once the children come into foster care, we immediately set a plan of a reunification, or we attempt to set a plan of reunification so that we can reunify them with either their birth parents or the caretakers that they were removed from.
That's an interesting, a great point that you mentioned is, of course, the goal is to reunify them, right? The goal is that they go back home. But that's not always the case.
Right.
Right. And then that's where the adoption process comes in, right? And so, you know, I know that you guys have been sending out, at least to the county, all month, like a lot of really fun adoption statistics. I shouldn't say statistics, but like, you know, famous people who were adopted and things like that. So it's been really interesting to learn about the adoption process. But I assume by the point that you guys are looking to adopt them into another home, reunification is not possible with their original family. So how does the adoption process work for the county?
So with the adoption process, like I said, we start out with the plan of reunification. Once we realize that reunification is no longer on the table, we either go through the court system to terminate the rights of the parents, or the parents will relinquish their rights to the local DSS or whatever agency that the local DSS agency that the child is in. That frees the child for adoption. Once that child is free for adoption, free and clear for adoption, then we can start looking for prospective adoptive parents for these children. Most of the times, the foster parents that the children are living with are becomes the adoptive parent, or possibly a kinship provider, maybe like a grandmother, aunt, uncle, some type of the family member that the child is familiar with will become the adoptive parent.
Because ultimately, you'd like it, you know, they'd probably feel more comfortable being with someone in their family, and I feel like that's a much easier transition than having to go to some random place, right?
Yes.
So talk about the adoption process, right? So I know that I've known people who have adopted, and it's kind of a strenuous process, right? I mean, you know, there's a lot of background checks and things that have to happen and before someone just gets placed in a new home, right?
Yes.
Yes. If they're a licensed foster parent, some of these checks have already been done, but you do have to make sure that you go back and get your criminal background check. You have to have fingerprints, your local checks, because you have your state and then you have your local.
Yeah.
You have to do a pre-placement assessment, so the worker will go out and interview the parents and get background information on them.
Once that assessment is completed, then we'll bring it back to the agency. We have a committee within the agency, which is our adoption committee. We will all come together, kind of go over the assessment that was completed, ask any questions about the prospective family, and then we can decide, if this is a fit for this child, or
Yeah.
this family, would be forever family for this child. Once we approve that family, then we move forward towards the adoption process, which includes like completing the forms, meeting and greeting if the child is not already in a home.
Yeah.
Different type of outings that the prospective adoptive parent and the foster child may go out, to the park, or just to kind of get to know you type
Yeah.
thing.
We of course are talking with you both because there is a need, right? There is a need for foster parents. We've talked about that need before, and it's not Foster Parent Month or Appreciation Month right now, but that's kind of a step towards that adoption process a lot of times. And so there's of course always a need for foster parents, but then also adoptive families, because you have children that you can't place right now, right?
Yes.
That are
Yes.
looking for homes.
Yes.
And you guys have to take care of them until they can be placed somewhere. And so I know that's got to be a big burden on you guys, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That was a very quick answer. A very quick yes. But so, if people are interested in becoming foster parents, or, an adoptive family, what do they need to do? I guess the first step is to reach out to y'all, right?
Yes. Actually, we're going to be having a class starting in January.
Okay.
So they can reach out to the agency, and they can call either myself or our licensing worker, Sydney Whitfield, and we can start there, getting a little bit of information, phone number,
Yeah.
address, so that way we can send out the application, and then they can send it back, and we can go ahead and get them possibly enrolled in that class.
Yeah.
And also we're going to have an information session set up so they can kind of get some information, so they can make sure that that's a good fit of what they want to do.
Absolutely. And I know that I've heard about that class, but refresh my memory. How long is that class?
It's a 30-hour
Okay.
class, so it is 10 weeks. So we're looking to do it on Saturdays, so that just can accommodate everybody's
Yeah.
schedule.
Yeah. And so that, of course, is the first step into becoming a foster parent and all that. And so you can reach out to the Wayne County Department of Social Services, and you can get all the information for that. I got to ask y'all, what brought you to the world of DSS?
For me, I think it's just helping others and helping bring families together, assisting families, just the need to help, or the want to help other people get on the right track.
Yeah. Well, and I ask you that because I can see that, right? Like it's a job that that I think it takes a special group of people to do. And so I want to thank y'all for that, because I know that we each have our like difficult days in what we do, but like I can tell you that like my difficult day is not nearly as difficult as y'all's days, right? Like you guys are really changing lives and making a difference, and so we appreciate your service to Wayne County for that. And I know it probably doesn't mean a lot coming from me, but I appreciate what you guys do, because I'd say a lot of people don't understand that the world of social services, it's a 24/7 operation,
It is.
right? And
It
people don't get that. Like, we see the sheriff's office vehicles out there, we see our EMS vehicles out there, and like we know that they're 24/7 911, but DSS is another 24/7 operation that you guys are on call if anything happens, right? I mean, like, and you have to be there.
Yes.
So, what's your favorite part of your job? It's got to be that reunification, right? Like
For me, it is reunification or adoption,
Yeah.
whichever takes place
getting
first.
them placed
Right.
somewhere where they're loved.
Yes,
Yeah.
getting them back to their families where they are able to sustain their lives, or putting them in a family where they'll be there forever.
Yeah.
I would say making sure that that child has that forever home. When you get to see that child happy and a smile on their face,
Yep.
that is kind of like, okay, I've done my job.
When you guys get to see like the ultimate glow up, right? Like you basically, unfortunately, see that child at their worst, probably, and then you get to see them at their best too, which I think has got to be really neat.
Being able to see the case from the beginning of foster care to the end, whether it's through reunification or through adoption, is like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
especially with our adoptions, we're able to celebrate them with our local judge. She comes over and she presents them with the certificate that we started last year, or last year I think. They get like a little gift bag, and it's just for the family, so they're able to bring in family members. We go over to the courthouse and they have a little celebration.
That's
So
great.
it's just not like, okay, I'm adopted and that's
Yeah.
it, but you know,
That's great.
they're able to do that.
Again, so if you are interested and you're a family that's looking to be a foster family, or you're looking for adoption, I urge you to reach out to the Department of Social Services. There's a lot of great kids in your care. I know one of the fun things that we do here as the county is we adopt the kids as staff. And so there's all these we get a list of all the children and their ages. That's all we know, and what they like. And different departments adopt. And I think every year it seems to be that like all the kids get adopted, right? Like
Yes.
for Christmas
For
presents.
Christmas.
And so yeah, they get Christmas presents, and I think that's such a cool thing too. That like as a county, we kind of rally behind you guys and try to help the kids at Christmas, because I know that's got to be tough for them, right? So
Yeah.
well, did we leave out anything that y'all would like to talk about today?
I think one thing that we're asking for just in celebration or awareness of National Adoption Month is that on November 18th, I
Okay.
think this upcoming Friday, we're asking everyone to wear green, which is the color that represents adoption.
Okay.
So we're just asking anybody to wear green and to take a picture and send it to my email. Can I leave my email?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Senikka, SENIKKA .Caldwell, CALDWELL @waynegov.com.
Awesome. You
Thank
gonna make a collage for us?
Yes.
Nice. I look forward to that. So wear your green, support adoptions, and support the Wayne County Department of Social Services. They do a lot of great stuff. There's so many programs inside DSS, but again, I'm getting tongue-tied. Be looking out for that class coming up in January of 2023. It's hard to believe that we're already at that point in life. But it's a great class to go ahead and get acclimated to the world of foster parenting and getting that base checked off before you, I guess, proceed further along in that process.
Yes.
Right.
So you can give the Wayne County Department of Social Services a call for any information on foster parenting, on adoption, and just remember to do your own research, do some Googling about adoption and statistics, and help celebrate this month of adoption. So, ladies, anything else we need to talk about?
I don't think so.
All right, thank y'all both for coming in so much. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you again next time right here on Wayne TV.
Thank you.
Thank you.